Good morning. Welcome to Pink Salt Shed TV. I'm Kate Salter. Please, if you could hit the little subscribe button on the bottom right hand corner of the screen and the alarm bell for notifications. And then in the future, you will know when we're going live. Now, welcome to Friday, the end of another week. It's gone really very, very quickly. And today's a bit of a different one because I'm going to be just talking to you, talking to myself, talking to you. Nobody here to interrupt us whilst I'm doing a little bit of cooking for you. A couple of fridge essentials, some pesto, which I've run out of. I need to make some. It's one of those things that we use a lot in this house. Hummus is something that is really, really very popular, bought in tubs left, right and centre, but I'll show you how you can make it yourself. And some Edam chips. The little Edam chips can go with the pesto and the hummus perfectly. All right, so we'll make a start. Now, I have turned the oven on. It's been on for like ages. It's warming up the kitchen nicely. That's on 180 degrees centigrade. All right, oh, have a little sip of coffee. Right, I have pre-cut some Edam slices here, all right, because well, it just saves time. And what I've got to go on them are a few little things. So let's show you what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so we've got here our little triangles. Some mixed herbs will go on some. And then some black pepper. We quite like this, so I'm going to stick that on quite a lot of them. Cool. And then some paprika. Now sometimes what I do is I get a little round of chorizo and cut some slices and pop that on. But today I just thought I'd give you a little different variation. In fact, this is what some of those look like that I've done before. So there we go. You can see they're cut into triangles, different toppings on top. And the chorizo ones, now they're really popular, but of course they're a bit more calorific than the others. But hey, we've got this today. We've got this. So I'm going to stick them in the oven. All right. And they are going to cook for about 8 minutes, something like that. Okay. This is the techie bit. Alexa, timer for 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Starting now.
We love a bit of Alexa. Right, okay, so then we start with the pesto. Let's bring all the ingredients over. Right. I've, again, pre-prepared this because it's a little bit easier for me. But what I do is, to make mine, let's just cut to the here. Let's just show you what I've got here. Right, so olive oil. Lots and lots of olive oil. You'll probably need about 100 grams of olive oil. I measure it in grams because it's just easier. It's just easier. All right, and with the basil, 50 grams of that, little tiny bit of garlic, 50 grams of Parmesan cheese. And here I've got some pine nuts. Let's scoop those out of the hot pan for you. These little things. They look a little bit brown on the outside, you can see. But I've toasted these this morning, so actually there's the aroma of these gorgeous little things in the kitchen already. It's already smelling really nice. So I just start by popping all of these pesto leaves in a little mini whizzer. I don't use stalks because I find it makes everything taste, well, a bit stalky, to be quite honest. It does give it a different taste, but I don't waste the stalks. What I do, I bash them. I put them in a saucepan with some olive oil. I heat it up, not to boiling point or anything like that, just a nice gentle heat until it's really, really hot, and let it sit there for about 20 minutes. And then it cools down, turn off the heat, let it cool down. And then you've got some basil infused oil, which of course you can stick over your pizzas, you can stick over things. It's a great salad dressing. So that's what I like to do with the stalks. Now, I've got the olive oil in a jug. I just want to make sure that I've got the right quantity going in. So I've put in most of the basil, and then if you put in some of the olive oil, so I'll make a note that I'm sticking in about, there we go, about 50 grams of the olive oil. Stick the lid on and then whiz it up a little bit, and then the level of the basil will go down. Lid off, and then stick the rest in. Don't worry if you've got a few little brown leaves of pesto, that's absolutely fine. It's not going to alter the taste. I mean, you can smell the fragrance, it's absolutely lovely. And then pop the rest of the olive oil in. There we go. So that's now 100 grams of the olive oil. Stick that in. Ooh, there we go. Give that a good whiz. And then, oh, missed a leaf. And then I'm just going to, with a spoon, pat down the bits around the outside. Get it all in, whiz it all up nice and small. And then pop in your little bit of garlic. Now this is a medium-sized clove. If you want to pack a punch, add some more. If you're not keen on the garlic experience, don't add as much. But we'll whiz that up. Okay, excuse the noise. It can be noisy. Right, pine nuts in. I'm just going to stick them all in now. I've got the pan over here. So I have washed my hands, by the way. So I might be touching the pine nuts, but I've washed my hands. They are clean. There we go. We'll give that a whiz. And already, I mean, it's resembling fabulous pesto. Pine nuts are a little bit big, but that's okay because we'll be giving it another whiz. And add parmesan. Now I've cut this into relatively small chunks. You need to do that, otherwise the whizzer will not be able to coat properly. But anything too small doesn't really matter. Let's give that, right. This is going to be proper whizzing, so brace yourself. Wow, that is loud, even for me. I don't know what it's like for you at home. Okay. Look at that. I mean, it's so quick and it's so easy. And in a minute, I'm actually going to go through some shop-bought pesto that I got because I just want to show you the comparisons of what homemade stuff is like compared to that's shop-bought. It's, you know, it's almost a travesty that this stuff is pre-packaged for, you know, the delights of our taste buds, because honestly it's just, well, it's horrendous stuff. Okay, right, wipe my hands. Lid off. And look, this is our fabulous pesto. Look how green that is. Look at the shine. It's beautiful stuff. Now let's have a little taste. I'm using the same spoon, but I haven't actually eaten anything from it. Yeah, that's amazing. It is. I quite like to go heavy on the pine nuts and the parmesan. I think that does make the difference. A little bit of salt can just enhance the flavour. There we go, tiny bit. I'm going to pop the lid on for a final whiz, and that will be done. It's so easy. There we go. So, look how easy that is. It's amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely fabulous. So I'm going to leave that here. I'm going to pop that down there. And I'm going to show you some stuff I've got from the shops. Okay, now I've got Co-op, own brand, and I've got some Sackler. Now, let's just get a little bit of this out. So this is the Co-op brand. You'll see, yeah, it's green, but it's got that kind of green to it that, you know, if you're cooking broccoli and it's really still nice and bright, it's got that bite to it, and you think, yeah, okay, you just need to stab it to make sure it's done. But the moment it starts going that yellowy, sludgy green, you know that you've overcooked it. This looks like that. It's that kind of yellowy colour to it. It's got tiny bits in it. I can't see any cheese. I can't see any pine nuts. It smells, it's, you know what? It's almost lemony. It's almost floury, and I don't know what that could be. And then the Sackler. Now it's kind of the same. It's a little bit more lumpy, but again, it's that green colour that just doesn't look right. I mean, they've clearly used the stalks because you can see there's little fibres of stalk in this one, and having tasted it, you can tell that there's a stringiness to it. It really is quite gross. I know, sorry, I don't mince my words. It's gross. See, you've got the Co-op, which has got 13 ingredients in it, and you've got Sackler, which has got 12 ingredients in it. Mine has got 5. That is all you need, 5 ingredients, okay, with a bit of salt. But here you've got sunflower oil, It's cashew nuts predominantly. It's not even pine nuts. There's some pine nuts, but that's 2%. Pine nuts, 2%. And you've got milk in it, well, of course, from the cheese, but you've got 1, 2, 3 types of cheese. There's water in it. There's glucose syrup in it. Oh, there is a little bit of olive oil. Oh, that's good. There's potato flakes in this as well. And actually lactic acid. So there's different emulsifiers and there's flavouring in it. In fact, it's even got calf and lamb's rennet. Let's pause. Let's pause. Alexa, stop. Let's see what these look like. Hey. Beautiful things. Beautiful things. Look at that. We'll let them cool down for a tick. All right, and then I'll display them nicely for you. But back to the pesto. And then this one, the Sackler, has got the same ingredients really as the Co-op one. And it's just, you know what, this is a real poor show. I mean, each of these jars, Co-op lasts until, you know, keep it in the cupboard until October 2022. And you've got Sackler, which will keep in the cupboard until 2023. Now, lovely. But when I buy pesto and things like this, I buy it to use it. So all I'm going to do is use it and stick it in the fridge. Both of these are eat within 7 days. Once opened, eat within 7 days. Homemade pesto, if you put it in the pot that it's made in the fridge, that will last 2 weeks. And if you stick it in a jar that you've sterilised in the oven for about 10 minutes on 100, just a little bit above 100 degrees centigrade, it will stay in the fridge for longer. Of course, depending on if you're using it or not. But you'll see here, let's show you a close-up of what these ones are like. Really quite limey coloured, very thin. This one here has just got stringy bits in it. When I gave some to my daughter yesterday, she actually did make a bit of a face. Let's put some of my one in it as a comparison. And here you go. Look at that. Look how different it is. Look how different it is, rather. These are really yellowy, watery, mulched up. It's like, you know, it's like you've taken your bunny's hay and you've stuck some olive oil in it and you've stuck a little bit of water in it. There is that much difference. There is that much difference. But what can you use pesto for? Well, we can use it on many things, actually. What I like to use it on is just spaghetti and pasta. You know, heat it up, stick it all in a bowl and then feed it to the kids. It's something that you can do within about 10 minutes from them being massively hungry, having declared that they weren't hungry, but then they become massively hungry, put on your pasta or your spaghetti and mix that in, and that's it. It's a treat. It's a delight. You can stick it on some salmon as well. Let's show you this one. So this is stuff that I've made ages ago. And then you've got the salmon there. I think that's just fabulous. Stick it, you can stick some breadcrumbs in it as well, bake it as you normally would do. You can even put it in some roast potatoes. It's really quite versatile, or just use it as a dip. So, I mean, to be honest, I've made 260 grams there, 260 grams, and that probably won't even last the 2 weeks that I say it can last. And in fact, with 260 grams there, these jars are 190 grams each. And yes, they are cheaper. To be fair, they are cheaper. To make that, it's cost just over £3.60 with all of the ingredients, and that's from a mixture of supermarkets. I've tried to even it up. These ones here, you could buy 2 jars. Well, this one you could buy 2 jars, and that one you could buy about 1.5 jars for the same quantity. But I just think this one is head and shoulders over the rest. You won't go back after making that, and it's not about effort. You've just seen it doesn't take any effort at all. And if you say, but I just don't have time, well, then I think you're lying, because actually you have got time to make something as delicious as that. If you've got time to write that on your shopping list, if you've got time to, in the supermarket, walk round to the aisle that you need and to pick that up, you've got time to make that. And there's only 5 ingredients. So there, that's my little preachy over about pesto. So let's move that to the side. Need that garlic, don't need these. In fact, if anybody wants these, let me know, because you can come and get them. I'm not going to be eating them. Now you can see that I've used clean spoons for them, so that's fine. They are perfectly safe to eat, although I have opened them, so they've got a life now of 7 days. Right, so next up is hummus. What have we got? Everything I need here. Okay, let's get my other little whizzer. Hang on a minute. Sorry, I've disappeared. There we go. As if by magic, I've got a little bigger one. A little bigger one, a little one, but it's a bigger one than the other one. Let's bring over our ingredients. Now, a friend of mine the other day made some hummus, and she shelled all of the chickpeas. I don't really think it's necessary. She was obviously a bit bored or thought that it's going to make a far more velvety hummus, but I don't think it does. In the grand scheme of putting the effort in to do something like that, I really don't think it's necessary. Right, so what do we start with? Right, let's just chuck in all the chickpeas. Voila. And let's stick in a bit of olive oil. Et voila. Let's stick in some lemon juice. Super dupes. And I'm going to save the tahini till last because I don't generally make it with tahini in it. I don't think it needs it. But it can make it, it does give it another little type of, it does give it another depth to it, another flavour. I'm just going to put 3 bits of the garlic in that I've got. I don't want to overpower it. But what I'm going to do, because I haven't put everything in, I just want to check the consistency. Come on, lid. There we go. Right, whiz it up. Another noise. Yeah. Okay, more oil. So all in all, for hummus, you'll use a 400-gram can of chickpeas. You'll use about between 80 to 100 grams or millilitres, much the same, of oil. Some lemon juice, a little bit of salt. You can use tahini, like I say, and you can put some cumin in it, some spices, like a curry spice into it. That gives it a probably more Moroccan flavour, more Indian flavour. But actually you don't need that. It's not my preferred flavour, so I just leave it very plain. God, I love kitchen gadgets. There we go. This will probably be the last bit. And then we can do a bit of a taste test. Well, I haven't got anything to test it with. I haven't bought any. Looking good. There we go. It really is as simple as that. So let's just wipe out the bowl that I've stuck taking the chickpeas out of. Let me get a spoon. Just one of these. And okay, let's taste this one. Yeah, that's great. That tastes so much fresher than you get it out of a tub in the supermarket. It's got a really nice olive oil flavour to it. In fact, what you can do is if you don't want so much olive oil, and here I've got the drained water that the chickpeas were in the can. That's quite thick, and that can thicken it up without using too much oil. So that's probably quite a good lower fat version. But here you go. Fabulous. And what did I prepare earlier? Oh, hang on, where did I put them? There they go. So, a few little carrots to dip in. What I haven't done is made them really long, because when you cut up a carrot as a crudité, people take it, they dip it in, they eat it, and then they've still got some left. So they are compelled to then dip it in again and eat it. So you've got half of their mouth and everybody else's mouth in the room in the same bowl of hummus. Disgusting. So just cut it so it's the right size. There you go. Marvellous. Right, let's do a close-up on this so you can see exactly what I mean by the consistency. Here we go, stick that there. That's what we've got. It's kind of gloopy. Doesn't run off of the spoon. And there we go, quite fabulous. Right, I will save that for later. Now that will last in the fridge for probably about, oh, hang on, one second. That'll last in the fridge for about 3 or 4 days, dependent upon whether you then start eating it and then munching it and munching it and munching it. You can eat it in pita bread, but I tend to find that the pita bread goes a little bit mushy. You can eat it with some tortillas, actually. If you've got one of those flour tortillas, cut that into little triangles and then bake it in the oven for 5 to 10 minutes, and then they go crispy. So then you've got something that you can scoop. You can scoop it out. Right, let's move this out the way and get back to our lovely, lovely Edam chips. Bear with me. This is where it's going to not behave properly. Oh, hang on. Oh, no, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Oh. So these will be gone by the afternoon. But both children are devils for just walking past the bowl that these are in and just grabbing one or two. Oh, I'm running off with them because they are quite delightful. Now this one, the ones with herbs on, can taste a little bit pizza-y, which is quite nice. Oh, there we go. And the Edam cheese, you see, it creates that little, it's got that little skin to it. Let's show you a bit better. I don't think you can see it very well as I'm doing it. There you go. So they don't run around all over the place. They don't go too runny and then lose their shape. This is what I like about this. And of course, you can cut them up even smaller if you want to. But I find that this works a treat. So, what have we got? We've got some fabulous Edam crisps. We've got some marvellous hummus that we can eat with it. And where's my pesto gone? We've got some lovely pesto that we can enjoy, dips and chips. Now we just need, really, the glasses of wine and the friends. Oh God, what a shame. We can't invite any of our friends around to enjoy it. Oh well, I'll just have to eat it all myself then. But what I'll be doing with the pesto, that will stay in the fridge. The children will probably have some pasta for lunch and I'll mix that in. Over the weekend, we'll have some salmon or some different fish, spread it on top. You can even put breadcrumbs in it and then that will be quite nice and it makes it a little bit more crunchy. With the hummus, I think at lunchtime, I'll chop up some veg. The kids can have that and I'll do some tortilla chips as well as we've got the Edam chips to graze on. So it's just lovely little things to have around for when the kids go from, no, I'm not hungry at all, to being absolutely starving. It's like they've never eaten before. Then you've got something to give them. Very, very quick and easy. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed it. It can be a little bit chaotic. It's the first time I've done cooking on here, but that's fine. It can only get better from here. All right, but join me again. In fact, Monday's show is going to be fabulous. Monday's show is all about this stuff. Yeah, Monday's show is about hair. We've got Carla and Craig coming over from Simon Smith Salon in Chipping Norton, one of the best in the Cotswolds, and it's local to me up the road. They're going to be talking about all things hair. So colouring, styling, the products that you can be using, the things that are that we can do at home, and then the absolute no-nos like don't cut your fringe. Don't put any bleach product near your hair because they don't want to have to undo all of the damage that you've done whilst we've been in lockdown. But of course, join the show. Send them messages. Send me messages, kate@pinksaltshed.com. All right. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and hit the alarm bell for notifications. But in the meantime, it's lovely to see you. Have a really lovely weekend. Hope you're up to something nice. Maybe a bit of rest and recuperation or you're working. I just hope it's very enjoyable. Thanks for joining me today. It's been fun. It's been a pleasure. And I'm going to go and eat lots of things. Have a great weekend. Thanks.